G'day guys, this is part 7 of the Tamiya TT01 Racing Truck build series. In this video we will be assembling the shock dampers, part of the steering rack and front bumper, so forth. Now you'll need the parts to do this, obviously. However, I'm just going to show you the parts that I haven't done. Reason is I have done 3 of the 4 shocks, and I have done part of the steering rack. Now, this is a fairly straightforward procedure. So we'll start off with the shock assembly. Now these are friction shocks. These aren't oil-filled shock dampers. I'm pretty sure it's purely to keep costs down. I think. I mean, you know, we're in a day and age where even your most basic of ready-to-run cars that are not made by Tamiya come with oil-filled shocks. However, this is Tamiya's choice, and I'm building this kit as is, apart from ball bearings, because as I mentioned in the very first video, this is to do a control class. And while I'm thinking about it, I should put my microphone on. Alright, that's probably a bit better, and you can probably hear me a bit better too. Alright, so as I was saying, these are friction shocks. So we'll first start off with assembling the main shock body, and it just clips on like so. Push it nice and firm. Little collar goes on, and then we put the shock spring on. Now this just goes in, and as you can see, if I get it right there, you can see how well, it's not fully enclosed. You push it in and it clicks into the shock body. Now what I'm going to do is I've got some Speed Passion shock damper grease. This is if you have a friction shock damper for like a pan car or something like that. I'm just putting some around the bottom part of the guess you would call it what would be the shock piston. Don't have to put a ton of it on, but this is just to I guess you could say give a little bit of lubrication. So you'll want it to be a little bit like that. If I can get the light in, get it to focus, so you want it like that. Now just slowly put it past the spring, and it just clicks in like that. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So that's it, guys. It's real. Like I said, it's real simple. So I'll just put that and the grease over there. So now what we'll do is we'll attach the shock to the chassis. And it's really easy. I'll just extend this out a little bit, or a lot. And see, guys, that is really easy. That's it. Okay, so now the next part is involving putting on this set screw. This will help hold on the part of the steering rack. So if you have one, a 1.5mm driver will work nicely. Then we have this collet or shaft. It's threaded on the inside, and it just screws on like so. Now, part of the steering is I guess you call it the steering rack or bell cranks. You have these bushings. I don't have bearings for it, doesn't really matter. This slides in. Now, take note too of the orientation. You can see this part is higher than this side. This side goes into the chassis. This is faces towards the out of the chassis. So while we're at it, put the steering rod arm on to the what will be the upper part of the bell crank. Remember, not too tight. You want the parts to move freely, like so. Right. Alright, make sure it moves nice and free, which it should. Alright, so now the next part is to put on the foam bumper. Now this is a fairly big bumper. It just slides on like so. And now we put the bumper stay on. Alright guys, so as you can see, the chassis is coming along well. Now, so that's the foam bumper, the shock dampers, the steering system or steering rack, however we'll call it. That's all done. So that's the end of this video. Next video we will be installing our electronics and installing electronics. Stay tuned guys.